Let's take a look at the latest on Hurricane Erin. I'm meteorologist Robert Spett, always trying our best to give you the latest information with no hype, just kind of breaking down why a storm is going where it is and some of the impacts here. Now, this is a Category 2 hurricane, winds of 105 miles per hour. It is moving north and east now, so it's really completing that turn that we were absolutely expecting, and it's following through. Still a little bit too close for comfort for coastal areas of North Carolina, specifically out here in the Outer Banks. Cape Hatteras, you've been looking at some winds gusting upwards of 30 miles per hour over the last hour. Now, you still have some bands kind of wrapping on around, but the number one thing is still the waves there. And that's one of the reasons why, areas were evacuated here because of the large waves. Tropical storm warnings are still in place, too, extending back towards the north, even all the way out towards New Jersey here, extending along the coastal areas of Virginia as well. So you still could be looking at some of these tropical storm strength winds, large waves, but once you start to head inland away from the immediate coastline, those impacts are going to dramatically be reduced. The big thing, and you can see right here, this bowling ball of high winds. It stretches over a wide area. So this storm started off very tight, but once it moved off towards the north, all that energy just kind of spread out. So even though it's no longer a Cat 5, the big thing is that wind field is over a very large and vast area. Very common for storms turning towards the north just like this, but that also does kick up those waves. So not even for just the northeast, but even extending out towards Nova Scotia into Newfoundland, they're going to be looking at some massive waves as this kicks on by. So just continued same advice as the last few days. If you stay out of the ocean, you'll probably be just fine out there. That's the key thing here with this storm system. And look at some of those waves closer to us. And also look at this, 35 feet at a buoy out there. I'll tell you, I was in the Navy, did some weather with them. I was out in some seas once at about 25, 30 feet. Oof, it is no fun. So a big shout out to all our shipping traffic along the coast, though, and you can see right there into the Jacksonville area, we're still looking at 5 to 6 foot breakers. The key thing is, even as this pulls away, you're still looking at some very dangerous rip currents out there along the coast. The winds are offshore now, so at least for surfers, if you're a strong swimmer, it is going to be a little bit more cleaner of some waves. All right, so this is another thing I want to address just real quick. Time and time again, 48, 72 hours ago, I got so many messages on these videos we were recording of people saying, you're lying, the storm's not going to turn towards north. Goodness gracious. The forecast followed through as we expected. Yes, there was a little bit of a westward jog, but if you take a look, each and every single one of the warnings fell within inside the cone of air, and the overall projection pretty much lines up with a video, if you look back on this, I made about a week and a half ago saying this Erin was likely going to turn towards north and thread the needle between the east coast of the Carolinas and Bermuda, and that's exactly what's following through. My point is not to say, oh, we got it right. It's just say, trust meteorologist in general as a profession. That's the number one thing. You don't just be careful with your information, because sometimes there is a lot of misleading stuff out there where I think people are just trying to get clicks versus actually sharing reliable information. And that's even the case with this next area. Now, I want to show you the streamline analysis, because we got that Erin moving towards the north. We have another area of convection right in here. But you see this kind of big trough Erin's leaving behind, and then you have the Bermuda high just towards the east of Bermuda. This next area is going to follow in behind that. It is still given a high chance of development by the National Hurricane Center in the next 7 days, probably as it turns towards the north. But this is a clear example, because I've seen time and time again with this specific wave, people posting long-range models, just kind of cherry picking that was going to destroy Florida, and that is not even a remotely close. This last storm has been the worst with that. I don't know if it's just new technology evolving and lack of trust in people, professionals. I'm not sure. But yeah, just one thing I do want to stress. So right now, both of these areas we're watching, but they all look like they're going to stay out to sea. But it is, and here's the caveat, it is hurricane season. It's that time of year where storms like this can erupt, and they can develop pretty quickly. But at least based on everything I'm seeing right now, there is no threat to the East Coast in the future. For now, let's continue to monitor our hurricane at hand, still bringing these tropical storm strength conditions to coastal areas and some very dangerous waves out there. I'm meteorologist Robert Spett, First Coast News, on your side.